What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Monday, June 9th, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I'm a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's coming on with me today. She is a collegiate student right now, going to the University of Georgia. She is an intern at the AJC, which stands for the Atlanta Journal Constitutional. Her name is Olivia Sayer, and we are going to talk to her about her why of wanting to get into the journalism industry, and we're going to get to know her a little bit. So, without any further ado, I introduce you the wonderful, the talented Olivia. Hello
Hi,
there. How are you doing, Olivia?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. It is wonderful to see you. You look very radiant today in that pink, I should say.
Give me 1 second. I need to get my dog under control.
You're good. No problem. Take your time.
So sorry about that. My dog was barking out there, so I figured I'd go put her with my parents.
That is okay. That is all right. Once again, you look absolutely lovely today. I just want to say that to
Thank
start
you. I
off.
appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I also want to say thank you for allocating your time to me to hop on my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder. And I want to ask you, how was your weekend and how's your Monday going?
Yeah, my weekend was fantastic. I try to think about what I did. I guess it would have been some Braves coverage, some, I
Hmm.
think US soccer. I don't know. My week's been a blur recently, but Monday's going good as well. Gonna do some Brave stuff tonight, so it's been a fun week.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I just want to reiterate to you why I wanted to have you on here because, um, one, I love talking to other journalists, especially sports journalists, because I'm one myself. I graduated from Kennesaw State University in 21, and then moved out here to Minnesota. Um, for my first full-time job, so covering different state championships, section championships, and then it's just been a blast being able to do that. Now I'm freelance because I'm also covering professional stuff as well. Got a chance to cover the Timberwolves out here for a game. Got a chance to cover some soccer games and also professional women hockey league. So I just love covering different stuff and doing different things, but also love talking to different journalists because everybody's story is different to how they ended up here. I believe you're still going to UGA, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. I have one more year.
No, absolutely. That's awesome. And I know they have the red and black over there, which is their newspaper and, school newspaper and journalism stuff over there. So I'm very familiar with Athens because UGA is my favorite football team, number one. And number two, I've had a lot of friends that graduated from there before. So it's pretty awesome. And that's why I wanted to talk to you because I want to hear your story about why you wanted to get into the journalism space and be in journalism. And that's kind of my first question to you leading into that is what is your why? Did you have any role models growing up? Anybody that you wanted to inspire to, anybody that inspired you, I should say, to want to be in broadcast journalism?
So that is a great question. I always loved writing ever since I was young. I just
Mhm.
gravitated towards it, elementary school, middle school, whatever. And I think it was because there was never really a right or wrong answer to it. Whereas, as you know, math, there's a right answer, there's a wrong answer, science, social studies, journalism and writing, you just kind of got to write whatever you wanted. And I remember I would even just write stories on my laptop when I was younger about who knows what stuff that kids write about. But, and then just as I grew up, I love sports. I always watched it with my family, always watched the Georgia games because I do come from a Georgia family, so similar to you in the terms
Hmm.
of Georgia football. But once I started doing journalism, I realized how cool it was just to tell people's stories, especially in an avenue like sports where you watch a game and it's in football, these guys competing on the field, but you never know what each of those players is going through. You never know who they are away from the field. So I think telling stories like that is a big part of it. As far as role models, probably my parents, just I idolized them growing up as every young kid does. So just seeing the way that
Sure.
they go about their business, the way their hardworking nature, stuff like that. But as far as people in the industry, UGA has such a great network of people that have gone through that journalism program, and they're all
Mhm.
more than willing to come back and educate people like myself. So there's so many people there.
Absolutely. The Grady School, if I'm not mistaken, that's where
Yes.
the journalism
Mhm.
school is. And one name right off the bat that I know that went to UGA that's been somebody who I've had contact with is Maria Taylor.
Mhm.
Somebody who is definitely a UGA grad, but also now big time, was big time at ESPN, now at NBC doing her thing as well. So you're absolutely right. There's the networking there is phenomenal, and that's one of the best journalism schools in the country. Which leads me into this next segue to this next great question: is was UGA always your first choice of school, and if not, what other schools did you apply to before selecting UGA being the school that you eventually would go to?
So UGA was actually the only school that I applied to. It was
Wow.
yes, definitely risky. But just coming from a Georgia family, it was always my dream school growing up. I think I'm the seventh or eighth person in my family to go there. So definitely a big Georgia family. And then my backup plan was just to attend like another school in Georgia, GCSU. I'm blanking on some others, Kennesaw State maybe, and then try to transfer in. So yeah, very lucky that I was fortunate enough to get in there.
Yeah, my grades was not as good. Definitely not as good to get into UGA at that point. But Kennesaw State was really
Yes.
really a good close second. It was also closer to
Mhm.
home.
Yeah.
Although because my first year I actually lived at home, and then my second year is when I eventually moved to campus, and then my junior year is when I moved off campus and got my own place. So that's when and I liked it. Kennesaw is, as you know, I'm sure you've been to
Yes.
Kennesaw State before.
Mhm.
It's big time. I love that school, but has
Mhm.
nothing on Sanford Stadium and UGA. I mean, Athens is big time. And
Mhm.
I do have a question for you as far as the top four things to do in Athens, but
Okay.
um, there's a restaurant called Mama's Boy that's there.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
Mhm.
know about that. Okay.
Yes, I
Okay.
actually live right across the street from it, so very convenient to
Wow.
mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the
Mhm.
best spots ever to eat at.
Mhm. Yeah.
No question about it. And I'm sure you know about the stripper bars that's there in Athens as well.
Actually, I've actually, and I'm not just saying this, I've actually never been to a bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I understand. That I do understand because you say
Yeah.
you're going into your last year, so I'm not sure if
Yes.
you just reached 21 yet
Just turned
or
21 this spring.
okay.
So yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would definitely say before you leave, definitely at least test it out. I would say at least one time. You don't have to do it all the time, but at least one time.
Mhm.
Those stripper bars are definitely something that you should test out for sure. No,
I've
with
heard
some friends.
there's a really good line dancing thing that just opened up,
It
which,
is.
yeah, that
It
sounds
is.
cool. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. Okay. Well, off to a great start, Olivia. I got some favorite questions for you. Okay,
Mhm.
so you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon these favorite questions. Okay, so here we go.
Got it. Mhm.
Favorite meal you like to cook?
So I'm not a big cooker. Like I still have the meal plan at UGA and all that stuff, but favorite meal to eat would probably be chicken tenders like a 5-year-old. Don't know
Wow,
why,
that
just love it.
okay. Listen, hey,
Yeah.
as my dad always, or as my mom would say, not my dad, my mom would say, "Do you, boo?" That's the word that she would say. She would tell me that all the time. So I understand chicken tenders. Okay, I feel you on that. I'm a huge into tacos, so tacos is definitely
Good.
something I love to do for sure.
So good.
Um,
Mhm.
Next question is favorite concert you've ever attended.
So I've actually only been to one, and that was Megan. Yeah, Megan Trainer. I don't get out much, but Megan Trainer in seventh grade. So I guess I'd have to go with that one.
Wow. Okay, Olivia,
Mhm.
listen, I still come to Georgia quite a bit. My mom,
Mhm.
uncle, and aunt live there, so I still have
Yeah.
family there. Have a lot of
Oh
ties
wow.
there.
Mhm.
We're definitely gonna have to stay in contact. We got to get you out a little bit more, just a
Sounds
tad
good.
bit more, okay? But
Yes.
Megan Trainor's not bad.
Yeah,
That's a
it's a
very
fun
good
one.
concert. I like that. That's
Mhm.
pretty good. What kind of
Yeah.
music do you like?
A little bit of everything. So I actually grew up dancing, so anything that I could choreograph a dance to. So like some of the contemporary stuff, whether it's Dermot Kennedy or just like a bunch of 2010s, 2015 pop music.
Yeah, I have two left feet. So how about I help you
Mhm.
with the I'm pretty terrible when it comes to dancing.
Yeah.
Although if I
Mhm.
see somebody doing something, I can copycat it
Yeah.
pretty good,
Mhm.
but I'm
Yeah.
pretty terrible when it comes to dancing. Like the simple
Yeah.
two-step for me is what I
Mhm.
do.
That's okay.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Okay, that's what's up. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Ooh, this is a good one. I have this debate with my family all the time. It would probably be, well, Hawaii would probably be number one. I was
Okay.
fortunate enough to go there with my family 2 years ago, I guess it was now. We stayed in the Big Island, made a week out of it. Absolutely beautiful. But it's either between that or Puerto Rico and Mexico, because both of those were really fun as well.
Absolutely. Definitely been to Hawaii, no question. Family
Nice.
trip.
Hmm.
I totally understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Been to Mexico too.
Hmm.
Puerto Rico is on my bucket list for sure.
Hmm.
But my favorite place is Jamaica. Jamaica
Ooh,
was
I
my
want to go.
favorite place.
Yeah. How was that?
Yeah.
What do you like most about it?
The jerk chicken. The jerk chicken
Jerk
was
chicken.
amazing.
Yeah.
The food there was good.
Mhm.
The beach was great. It was extremely hot. Don't get me wrong
Yeah.
about that one. But
Mhm.
how they got around was just amazing. Like when we took a tour of Jamaica, we
Mhm.
got in these like there's like a cart that you get into and they pedal you around on bikes
That's nice. Oh,
to take
wow.
you around
Mhm.
Jamaica. So it's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. Yeah.
That's
And
so
they took us
pretty.
to the beach. And
Yep.
when we got to the beach, I got into the water. It was so good. It was so
Mhm.
nice. So
Yeah. That sounds awesome. Sounds
yeah,
good.
yeah, it was a family cruise that my dad put
Mhm.
together, and we had that was one of our four stops for sure.
Oh, nice. I have not been on a cruise, but I really wanna go on one, but the problem is my father does not want to. He's terrified of the just concept of a cruise.
I
So,
got you.
yeah.
So you probably gonna have to find maybe some girlfriends. I don't know
Oh,
if you
yeah.
have siblings, maybe some friends you
Mhm.
can go on a cruise with.
Yeah.
It is definitely worth going. I don't know if you got your passport or not, but if you do,
Yes. Mhm.
it's definitely worth going. I would say
Yeah.
a week long
Okay.
cruise for sure.
Any specific line? Or
Yeah, Royal
okay.
Caribbean, Princess.
Yeah.
My dad chose MSC cruises,
Oh, wow.
but that's international, and
Yeah.
international is good, but if you don't really speak multiple languages, then yeah, it's probably not going to be the cruise for you.
Yes,
So
definitely.
yeah, but I would definitely say Royal Caribbean,
Okay.
Princess, anything that you can go on those two, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, good to know.
That's what's up. Okay. Now we're sports people, so I got to ask you this
Mhm.
next question as a favorite
Yeah,
sports question. This is a two-parter. Favorite sport that you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person? They could be the same
cool.
sport.
In person, college football. I just think it's unmatched. I think the environment is insane. There's just something about when you're in a stadium, as you probably know, of like 93,000, 100,000 in some cases. The fact
Hmm.
that everybody's rooting for one team and it feels like you're best friends with everybody that you're seated next to is awesome. So definitely that for in person. As far as on TV, either college football or I'm a really big baseball fan, so college baseball, MLB, anything of that nature, I always love to watch.
Absolutely. One of my bucket list things is to go to all 30 stadiums of
Oh,
MLB.
wow.
I've been to
Mhm.
14 so far.
Dang. Mhm.
So I have quite a bit more to go, but I've been to quite a
Yeah.
few. And then for college
Mhm.
football, um, my goal is to go to all the SEC stadiums, which
That'd
I've
be cool.
been to Auburn, been to Alabama,
Yeah.
been to Georgia. been to Rocky Top, been to Tennessee.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but now since they've added new ones into the SEC,
Mhm.
as you know,
Yeah.
definitely gotta go to that one. I'm definitely gonna go. Although I'm in Minnesota, I typically go to
Mhm.
Georgia twice to visit
Okay.
moms.
Yes.
I'm definitely gonna go to the Georgia Tech game because that's Thanksgiving
Okay.
weekend, and that's in
Yes.
Atlanta, so it's
Yes,
closer.
it's in the bins. Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I'm definitely gonna go to that game. There's no
Okay.
question. I will be
Yeah,
there for sure.
that should be a good one. It's gotten competitive recently.
Yes, absolutely. Last of the favorites, and I'm a huge restaurant person, huge foodie person, Olivia. So,
Mhm.
favorite restaurant that you like to eat at?
Ooh. In Athens, there's this place, and it's actually called The Place. It is really good. It has good,
Mhm,
like, I'm sure. Have you been there?
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you know what I'm talking about. It's really good. So definitely that.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
I definitely like the place. I like Mama's Boy. I would
Yeah.
definitely say my place to eat at is called a place called Eats, which is downtown
Oh. Hmm.
Atlanta. So it's near Georgia
Okay.
Tech.
Hmm.
Um, because they serve big portions. They serve like huge big portions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Nice.
Um, I love that. Now, obviously being a Georgia native as you are, I gotta ask you, because
Yeah.
I typically like to ask Georgia natives this question: is Waffle
Yeah.
House overrated?
No, not at all. Especially if you go there from midnight to like 5 a.m. in the morning. It's
Okay, you know,
unmatched. Mhm.
okay, you
Yes.
already know. You already
Mhm.
know. Girl, we gonna
I
be good.
actually, yeah, I have a t-shirt. I don't know if you remember the Braves in 2021. Waffle House was sort of their rally cry. So I have a
Mhm.
t-shirt that says Battle ATL in Waffle House print and font and logo and all that stuff. So big Waffle House fan.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
I'm a huge Waffle House fan too. And
Mhm.
for those of you that will watch this, Waffle House is like on every corner in Atlanta, Georgia. Like every
Yeah.
street or every block is damn near a Waffle House.
Hmm.
No question about it. You can't escape it.
Yeah.
But my number one go-to is All Star Special.
Me too.
Uh, okay, so that's you too. Okay, got you.
Yes, definitely.
I typically get the double waffle.
Okay.
And I get eggs. I'll
Mhm.
get the raisin toast or the wheat, me
Okay.
raisin toast or wheat toast.
Yeah.
And then I'll get the sausage links. That's what
Yeah.
I get. What do you normally
Yes.
get?
Mine's similar. I'll do waffle, half chocolate chips, half plain, and then scrambled eggs, no cheese or anything, wheat toast, and then you got to get the hash browns because one time I got the grits and it
Yeah,
just wasn't the same, and then
yeah.
sausage.
I feel you. Okay, I like
Mhm.
that. I
Good.
do. I like that. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
want to talk to you now about your day to day. I mean, obviously you're in
Yeah.
classes, you're going to be
Hmm.
entering your final year.
Yes.
Senior year is always the greatest time, but it's also could be some of the hardest times too, because you're dealing with
Mhm.
capstones, you're dealing with the end of your collegiate
Yeah.
career, but you're also an
Mhm.
intern at AJC right now,
Yes.
and you are doing stuff in the school newspaper. So tell me a typical
Yeah.
day for Olivia Sayer? Like what is your typical day-to-day operations?
So it obviously changes, as you probably know, from day to day. I feel like no day's the same, but
Sure.
generally speaking, like as of last semester, it'll be wake up, go to class. All day, you're just scrolling through social media just to make sure nothing breaks. Because I actually switched from the student newspaper. I did that freshman year until fall semester last year was my last. And now I'm with Dogs 24/7, which is 24/7 sports. So I'm just kind of
Mm,
scrolling, yeah, just scrolling the internet to see if any news breaks, especially right now since the transfer portal for baseball just opened and that's my primary sport that I cover. Seems like
sure.
every hour there's a new person in it or a new person committing. So definitely checking that. And if anything breaks, kind of just writing about it, making sure I'm still putting in time for some features that are coming up. So to answer your question, it's kind of really no days the same. The only thing that would be consistent would probably be those classes.
Which is typical for a life of a reporter. You go in
Yes.
covering new games, doing features, editorials, previews, and seeing all different kind of things. And so you pretty much got that down pat. The only thing that's going to be different is no classes, no tests, no
Mhm.
papers that you have to write once you
Yeah.
graduate. It's just going to be real
Mhm.
world kind of stuff. So I love
Yes.
that. I do. talk about mental health though and work-life balance because you seem a very
Yeah.
easygoing person. I certainly wouldn't mind hanging out with you, that's for sure. And I'm sure you have plenty of friends that you definitely hang out with. But being in sports, as you know, sports are nights and weekends. Sports are a lot of times where your friends get off at business hour times. We're working, we're searching the web, we're writing stuff, we're covering stuff, and sometimes it could be a lonely place. It can be lonely, no question about it. Talk to me about how you keep your mental health strong, taking those classes, because I'm sure you probably take full-time classes, which is either four or
Yes.
more a semester.
Mhm.
But also keep that school life, I should say, and that school life balance, right? Because you got to
Yeah.
be diligent in school, but you also have a life outside of school. Talk to me about how you keep those things strong.
I think for me, a part of it is a lot of my friends are doing the same thing as I am. So a
Mm,
lot of my friends are either doing sports photography, sports journalism, stuff like that. So to have people that can kind of relate to you and sort of know, like, hey, this is a 24-hour almost kind of job, but hey, let's still have fun. Let's still go get breakfast this one day. Let's still go out this one night, have a nice dinner or something. That really helps. And then as far as just getting involved in other things in school outside of journalism stuff, like, I did a dance team for 2 years, which was awesome because it was a nice break from all the journalism stuff that we had going on, whether it was class or at the time student newspaper, stuff like that. And then
sure.
just really loving what I do because I think burnout comes a lot when if you're getting in this monotonous cycle of every single day. But like we just talked about, no day's the same here. So it seems like every morning I wake up, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing something different today. Like I'm excited to see how it turns out. So I think that really helps a lot with the mental burnout aspect of it.
And I think to bring up the burnout part is something that I really love that you brought up. Because I've
Yes.
seen a lot of my colleagues,
Mhm.
being in this professionally, because prior to me even graduating Kennesaw State, I was writing for the Marietta Daily Journal, and I was also
Oh,
doing
yeah,
Cherokee Tribune Ledger. So I was covering
yeah.
football, baseball, basketball, and lacrosse. Um, and you see once you get into this profession professionally, you do see some people burn out a little bit because of the fact that they're just going 0 to 100, and sometimes they don't have time to just stop and kind of just smell the roses. And I know
Yep.
for me, when I moved up here with no family, so it was very tough for me because I'm a
Yep.
huge mama's boy, and
Yep.
I left my mom back there in Georgia, and my uncle, my aunt, and I didn't have my dad either, who's in the Northeast. So it was tough not having any family. So I would just call back home a lot and talk to them. And then when I went into the office, there was nobody around my age. It was like people that was 2 times my age. And it was like, oh man, like, oof. So it was really rough messing with my mental health. So I had to really kind of start leaning on the coaches. And you said it again, likewise people, right? People that's in your profession, that's around your age, that's doing the same thing that you're doing, which is something that I
Yep.
was definitely going to say is that you should lean into those people because you're going to see those same faces down the line. And
Absolutely.
it's hard for people who are not in this industry, Olivia, to understand like our schedule, like our schedule of what we do and who we are. Like it's hard for people that's not in this. Like I've lost a couple friends too, in which people would say, "Hey, Chris, come out for a drink, man. Come turn up with us." And I'm like, "Nah, bro, I can't do that. I got a football game I got to cover. I got to go do this. I got to go do that." Or I might get a call saying, "Hey, can you cover this? Can you cover that?" And my friends that are outside of the sports journalism field wouldn't understand. They'd be like, "Where you going? You
Yes.
just got here. I gotta leave."
Mhm.
So you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Or like, I don't know, like I was at a basketball game last year as a fan because I don't really cover basketball that often, last year at
Right.
least. And I brought my laptop because there was a Georgia player going through a lawsuit and it was going to break like during that basketball game. So once it broke, I had already had the article pre-written for the most part, but put the finishing touches on my friend sitting there laughing at me because I'm sitting on my laptop at the basketball game writing a story. And so it's just stuff like that. But you have to understand it sort of comes with the profession. And that's part of what
It
makes
does.
it fun.
It does. And as you understand, you know that your day ones, the people that are actually going to be there for you and understand what you're doing, they're going to be with you no matter what.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
the awesome thing about that, which leads into a great segue of a question, and that is, what kind of advice, right? Now, you're upperclassman, going to be a senior, but
Mhm.
there's going to be freshmen coming in as they do every single year uh, to the journalism program and lower classmen. What is some advice that you would give some of those students as far as being in the news school newspaper or wanting to be in broadcast journalism?
I would say I have two things. So first, I would say get involved with as many things as you can. Really try out a lot of different things. I think that's one thing that UGA does so well is it has a social media class. It has a broadcasting class that I'm going to take in the
Mhm.
fall. It has a writing specific class. So it really allows you to explore all those different avenues and it's fun to try them out. And then the second thing is make those connections, reach out to those people, be active on social media. I think social media has helped me a lot. It's how I
Mhm.
connected with the 24/7 guy that gave me that opportunity. It's how I connected with a lot of the AJC people that gave me that opportunity. So, as you know, I feel like this business is just all about who you know and building those connections that could come help you later down the line.
Without question. I think I would add to that as definitely build a portfolio.
Mhm.
That's one of the things that I would do. Get your website, build a portfolio, I should say, of maybe some clips or some demos or anything that you do, because you want to have some work and have people recognize that work. That's how one of the reasons why I first got my full-time job was being able to build that portfolio. And someone saw it and they reached out and called me, and I had 5 offers upon I would say about 3 4 months after graduation, because I graduated in the summertime of 21. So for me, I would definitely say, yeah, you want to build those connections. Social media has definitely helped me out as well. The I built a connection and just did the Super Bowl this past year,
That's awesome.
which was
Mhm.
absolutely amazing in New Orleans. It was my
Yeah.
first time there in New Orleans.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But being able to build those connections and being able to get on
Yeah.
with a network and being able to go around and talk to players and media faces and people
Yeah.
that I've talked to all around and see the game up close and personal, you are
Yes.
absolutely right. You definitely want to build those
Mhm.
connections because you never know who you can meet that can change your life.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the other thing, you just mentioned building connections at the Super Bowl. The one thing that I try to preach to those underclassmen is go to
Mm.
those events and cover those events because
Yeah.
that's how you meet a beat writer for another
Yep.
outlet that may have a job opening in a couple of months. That's how you meet someone else that could serve as a good connection. So definitely
Absolutely.
going to those events, even if it's like a swim and dive championship, doesn't seem that big at the moment. Still
Hmm.
go to it, build those connections, and it could help you down the line.
Absolutely. Those reps, you can't, I mean, those reps are great. Like you said, swimming and
Mhm.
diving may not be as
Yeah,
important as a football game, but
yeah.
all you need is those reps. And if people see you there and the more they see you, the more it's like, okay,
Mhm.
you just never know who's paying attention. And that's
Exactly.
something that
Mhm.
I definitely learned at my time in
Yes.
Kennesaw, covering
Mhm.
basketball and different
Yeah,
sports. And then, like I said, so I'm looking
yeah.
forward to seeing you down the line. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to ask this question about
Mhm.
you interning with the AJC and
Yeah,
how did that internship come about? Because obviously you been going to school, you've been doing your thing with
mhm.
24/7, but you also was in the
Yes.
red and black newspaper.
Mhm.
How did you get that internship, and what exactly do you do for the AJC?
Yeah. So they had I guess it was just a job opening online application thing that I applied for, but I think the thing that really helped me with that was those connections because I had one of my professors actually covers the Falcons for the AJC, the other one used to work for the AJC, another
Hmm.
one I met through going to an event actually at Georgia covering events in person, asked if he could be a letter of recommendation, he said yes. So just I think a lot of those connections helped me out with that and like you mentioned, building that portfolio, especially. And then as far as what I do, it's kind of a little bit of everything. They're not really treating me like an intern right now, which I love. So they're just sending me to different events. I'll be at Falcons camp tomorrow and Wednesday, supposed to write some stories on that. Be at Braves during
Hmm.
the weekend, done a little bit of dream stuff. Did an Atlanta United game, was actually in Fayetteville, Georgia for an update on the USA soccer or US soccer facilities. So they're kind of just
Yep.
letting me do a little bit of everything, and that's gamers, sidebars, features. So it's been really, really fun.
I love that, and you're getting valuable experience and covering it in
Absolutely.
one of the top markets in
Hmm.
sports, and that's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why It's actually my dream to come back there and do
Oh,
sports
wow.
journalism.
Mhm.
One of my
Yeah.
one of my big time dreams to do that
Mhm.
because not only because I have family there and I definitely
Yeah.
want to be closer to them,
Mhm.
but I
Yeah.
mean, just so many professional sports. I mean,
Mhm.
from the Dream, the Hawks, the Falcons, United,
Mhm.
as you said. So there's so many different things to do. The Braves, that's another one
Yeah.
as well. So I remember in
Mhm.
2021 being at the at Truist Park on the outside. I couldn't get into the World Series game, but I was there. I was there
Mhm. The
at the
battery.
Truist Park. Yeah, the battery.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thank you for helping me out.
Yeah.
But the
So, yeah.
battery, yeah. I was
Mhm.
there watching it on the Jumbotron and when they won
Yes.
the World Series, and that's amazing.
Mhm.
And being I remember having a friend that lived in the battery. I
Oh,
didn't live in
wow.
the battery, but he
Mhm.
lived in the battery for sure.
Yeah.
Those apartments around there.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
yeah, that was just a great time. And I
Yeah.
said to myself, this is something that I want to do. Like high
Mhm.
school and college is great, but professional sports is something I would love to do for sure.
Yes.
So I
Mhm.
love that. And do
Yeah.
the Falcons still have training camp in Flowerly Branch?
They do. They will actually be starting their mandatory portion tomorrow. So up there, it's
Okay.
really pretty. I had never been there prior to this, and it's beautiful. So they did a really
It,
good job with all that.
it definitely is a great sight to see, no question.
Yes.
Let me ask you now because we have reached the portion of the podcast now that we're going to do a little bit called this or that. And what
Okay.
that means is I'm gonna throw some things at you and you
Yeah.
get to choose this or that. So Olivia, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here we go. So the first question is which restaurant would you rather eat at? Popeyes or KFC?
Probably Popeyes. I feel like I don't frequent either of them that often because I always go Chick-fil-A or Zaxby's, but
I know
Popeyes is
it.
good. Popeyes is
I,
solid. Good mac and
I
cheese.
I knew it. And okay, so which one out of Chick-fil-A or Zaxby's, which one would you frequent the most?
Chick-fil-A, because Zaxby's is really good, but it could get salty on occasion.
It could. It
Yeah.
could. Although they do got them drinks. They got them high C drinks, and I love my high
Mhm.
C drinks at Zaxby's.
Yeah.
And typically when I go to Zaxby's, whenever I do go
Mhm.
home,
Yeah.
wings and things is typically what
Mhm.
I get,
Yeah,
as you
me
know.
too. Mhm.
And I'm a huge Chick-fil-A person.
Mhm.
I typically get the sandwich.
Yeah.
I get the 12 piece, and then I get
Okay.
a sandwich on the side, but no pickle. I can't do the
Okay.
pickle.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
I just
fair.
can't do. I
Yeah.
feel you on that.
My
We all think. Go ahead.
Mhm. I was gonna say my Chick-fil-A favorite, strawberry lemonade. It's one of my friends told me about it. It's not on the menu, but it is really good.
Strawberry lemonade. Hold on, is that
Mhm.
frozen or is that the regular strawberry
Nope.
lemonade?
It's just regular. I think they just put strawberry something in it, and it's really good.
Okay, I never tried that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
Mhm.
to get to that. That's what's
Yeah,
up. Okay,
solid.
all right. Now, on a chicken wing, which
Yeah.
flavor would you rather put on? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue, 100%. I actually
O-
ate barbecue wings last night, so my favorite, definitely barbecue.
Okay, all right.
Mhm.
Now, let me ask you: do you like your wings wet or dry?
Ooh, most of the time wet. I also get boneless, so I always do the boneless barbecue wings with just the sauce.
Do you eat your boneless wings with a fork?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It's my parents call it chicken tenders. It's a sensitive subject, but I call them boneless barbecue wings.
I'm with you. I call them boneless
Mm,
barbecue wings. I mean,
yeah.
listen, that's what they're called. I typically like boneless as well, more meat.
Okay.
And I don't mind getting messy, but at the same time, if I can eat it with a fork and dip it into much sweet baby Ray barbecue sauce as I possibly
Mhm.
can,
Yeah,
I'm with it. I'm with it. So,
exactly. Mhm.
okay. See, we vibe. We here. We vibing. I love that. Here we go. These next three questions have to do with which sports player would you rather choose? Since you're a Georgia native,
Okay.
I'm going to ask you some questions. Which sports player would you rather have bat for you if you needed somebody to bat in the bottom of the ninth? Okay. Andrew Jones or Chipper Jones?
Ooh. Chipper was money. I gotta go Chipper. He
Okay,
was
Chipper
just
Jones.
money at that position. But no, now in the outfield, Andrew, obviously, especially his defense unmatched. So
Sure,
definitely,
sure.
if we were going defensively, Andrew, but offensively, got to get Chipper the nod.
Oh yeah, Chipper can bat from both sides of the plate. So I'm
Yep.
definitely gonna go. I'm definitely gonna go with Chipper for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, next one here. Which Falcons player is most favorite of yours? Would you choose Matt Ryan or would you choose Deion Sanders?
Ooh. So growing up, I didn't really watch, I didn't get into sports until late. So obviously, I feel like Deion Sanders is probably the bigger franchise legend, but
Mhm.
personally, Matt Ryan, because that's who I grew up watching.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I love it.
Still should have a Super Bowl too.
Okay,
But,
yeah, you ain't lying about that. That was heartbreaking. I was there in in
oh,
in, in
dang.
Atlanta, 2016. That was so
Yeah.
heartbreaking. Like,
Yeah.
uh, anywho,
Yeah.
last
Moving on.
one, right? Last one of the favorite. Which Hawks player right now, if you is one of your is I would say is the most favorite of yours. Which Hawks player? Would you rather go with Trey Young or would you rather go with Josh Smith?
I gotta go cop out Trey Young. I mean, the guy's a superstar right now, sort of the leader of the franchise, but yeah.
Superstar. Okay.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. I think he's gotten gypped by the NBA with all the All-Star voting and all that kind of stuff recently. But
Hmm.
yeah, I gotta go Trey Young because Hawks. I don't really watch Hawks that often. Only I keep up with how they're doing, but I don't know as much about them. So I gotta go the face of the franchise right now.
I feel it. Okay. I respect that. Now, these next four questions for this or that have to do with music concerts that you rather go see.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather see Rihanna or Beyonce?
Ooh. I'll go Beyonce. She has some really, but like old school Beyonce, like single ladies Beyonce, stuff like that, more than the country thing that's kind of happening right now.
Okay. So, you old school Beyonce. All right. I'm with you on that. Which concert would you rather go check out? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Oh gosh. I'm trying to, oh man. I don't even know if I can name a single Kendrick Lamar or Drake song, to be honest. I probably can, but like yeah, I'm not multi-cultured at all as far as
Mm,
anything that's trendy. Like I didn't know anything with the beef, but I feel like I know some of Kendrick's songs. Like
mm.
isn't his like the All of the Lights or something? Isn't that him?
All the lights.
Yeah, the one with Rihanna.
No, that's Kanye West.
Oh, okay. Never mind that. This tells you how much I know about music at the moment, but
Okay, that's okay. Let's
yeah,
make a deal.
moving.
How about you teach me a little bit how to dance,
Okay,
okay? And I'll teach you about some hip hop,
yeah,
some
got it.
actually urban. How about we do that?
Sounds good.
That sounds
Yeah.
good. Okay.
hmm
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Look,
it's terrible.
that's okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna switch it up here. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Summer Walker or SZA?
I don't know who Summer Walker is. I'm telling, like anything pop culture. I think I said the wrong word earlier, but the word that means like trending music industry stuff. I don't know a single thing about that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
It's
goodness.
terrible.
I,
Yeah,
I'm trying to give you artists that you may know.
I know. I know
Okay,
SZA because she sings something with someone that was in the Super Bowl halftime show.
that was Kendrick Lamar.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yes, that's okay.
But no,
That's all right.
yeah,
Okay, we'll roll with SZA on that one. What about country artists? Do you know country artists?
no, not at
Okay,
all. Like
okay,
I know of Morgan Wallen because he sang the Brave song,
yeah,
but that's really it. Like
okay.
it's yeah.
What about? Do you? Let me ask you this: do you like Post Malone?
I don't think I've listened to many of his songs. No. Like it's a
Hmm.
very niche music thing that I listen to. And half the time I just listen to sports talk radio. So it's like,
Okay, so let me ask you this: which about now? I'm going to ask you about sports talk. Okay, so I'm going to ask
okay,
you about that. I'm gonna pivot.
okay.
Which sports I would say broadcaster would you rather listen to? Okay, would you rather listen to Stephen A. Smith or Mad Dog Chris Russo?
Oh gosh. I feel like they're kind of the same. Like I feel like they have the same approach where it's just yell at the other person as loud as you possibly can. But I feel like I gotta go with I've listened or I've watched Stephen A. Smith more than I have Mad Dog. Although I feel like Mad Dog talks a little more baseball. Mad Dog's really good with the baseball talk, but as far as what they're trying to like the style that they're trying to portray, I think Stephen A. Smith does it better than everyone out there almost.
Oh, for sure he
Mm-hmm.
does. And fun fact before I move on to the next this or that,
Mm-hmm.
I met Mad Dog Chris Russo at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's what happened. I was
Mm-hmm.
walking around. Was getting content, and Mad Dog was walking behind the scenes because the way they set up their booth, he's obviously on Sirius XM radio, and their
Yeah.
booth was way over on the other side. So he's walking behind, and I said, "Mad Dog," I yelled out, "Mad Dog!" He said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he gave me like a weird handshake and like hug. I wasn't expecting the hug though. I wasn't expecting it. So I was just expecting like a handshake, but he pulled me closer in and gave me a hug. He said, "Hey, what's your name?" I said, "My name is Chris, like you." And he was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah." And he had that high pitched voice. And
Yeah.
he said, Come find me after my show and we'll talk." And I tried to go find him after the show, and he was long gone. I was so mad. I was so mad I missed him, but
Yeah.
it was a pleasure meeting him for that brief moment. That was pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. That's a fun story to have for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm listen. I will definitely tell you a lot of stories about the Super Bowl. There's no question. 'Cause I got a lot of them.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
this next this or that has to do with sports that you rather watch on TV. So, which sports would
Yeah.
you rather watch on TV? Basketball or football?
Football, just because
Oh,
that's the sport I know most about now. I think I think NBA on TV is sometimes more exciting than NBA on person, depending upon the environment. Because the NBA game that I went to, I've only been to one in person. It was when the Hawks weren't very good, so there wasn't that many people there, and it felt like all you heard was that background music that they play the entire time. But like when I
sure.
went to the Dream game, they sold out State Farm Arena for Caitlin Clark was there, so that was a really cool environment in person wise.
Yeah,
But as far as TV, I'd probably go football just because that's the sport that I know most about.
absolutely. No question. I would say, which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Probably bowling because
Are you
my
a good
grandmother
bowler?
actually, not really, I should be. My grandmother actually used to own a bowling alley like in Athens, so I should be a lot better than I am. But I no longer use the bumpers, so that is all that matters.
That does matter quite a bit,
Hmm.
Olivia. I was
Yes.
about to end the interview if you said that. I was just gonna, I was like,
Yeah.
wow. But no,
Yeah.
no, I'm
No.
just kidding. But yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
totally, totally understand bowling. That's awesome. I love that. Do you like desserts?
Hmm. Very
Okay.
much so. Yes.
Yeah, me too. Four categories I'm gonna name. You
Okay.
have to choose one of these categories that you'll never eat again.
Okay.
Okay, here
Hmm.
we go. The first one is ice cream. The next one is candy. The next one is cookies. The last one is cake slash pies. Which one are you getting rid of?
I would have to go with ice cream, probably, just
Hmm.
because I feel like if there's a dessert and I'm in the mood for dessert, ice cream will be the last resort, unless it's like an ice cream sandwich or mint chocolate chip. I love mint chocolate chip when it has like the chocolate chunks in it. I think that's amazing. But I'm
Hmm.
trying to think. I feel like I can't eliminate cake because cake's one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
Candy, I feel like I eat too much of, and cookies, I feel like I eat too much of. So I'd unfortunately have to go with ice cream. What would you do?
I would definitely do candy.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
do like candy, but I'm
Hmm.
more of a gelatin person. So like
Okay.
Lifesaver gummies, Sour Patch Kids.
Hmm.
Not really into chocolate a whole lot, although that Hershey's
Yeah.
cookies and cream is the truth. I love that.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure. And I'm a huge cake person, so no, no,
Yeah.
I can't eliminate
Yeah.
cake. Certainly can't eliminate cookies because I like all cookies, which I'm
Hmm.
very different and weird because I like chocolate chip cookies, but I also like gingerbread cookies as
Okay.
well.
Yeah,
I'm
I could
I'm
see that.
huge into that. Yeah, I'm huge into
Nice.
that.
Yeah.
Do you like potato chips?
I do. Yes.
Okay, same format. Four brands. You got to choose one of these that you will eliminate. So here we go.
Okay.
The first one is Ruffles.
Okay.
The next one is Lay's. The third one is Doritos. The last one is Pringles. Which one are you
Dang.
getting rid of?
Ooh, this is hard because I feel like my top four favorite chips are like one of each category. Because love
Hmm.
barbecue Pringles, love sour cream and onion Ruffles, love Cool Ranch Doritos and the spicy nacho ones that come in the purple bag, and then love salt and vinegar Lay's. So this is challenging, but I think I'd probably unfortunately have to go Ruffles because the sour cream and onion are really, or not sour cream and onion, the cheddar and sour cream ones are probably the only time I really eat Ruffles is when it's in that flavor. So I think I'd have to say bye to those.
Well, I'm definitely disappointed that you said bye to those Ruffles, but I
Yeah.
am happy that you said that you really love the cheddar and sour cream because that is my
Yes.
favorite
Mhm.
Ruffles, no question.
Yes. Hmm.
I would get rid of the Lay's.
Okay. Okay.
Salt and vinegar Lay's are probably the second worst chip ever made.
Fair. I know a lot of people feel that way, but I love them.
I feel it.
Yeah.
That means there's more on the shelf for you to buy. That's why I would
Yes.
definitely leave it on the
Absolutely.
shelf for you for sure.
Yeah.
But no question on that. You did pretty good on the this or that. You did
Okay.
really good, Olivia.
Yeah.
You did.
Glad to hear.
Yeah, you did very good. Now, this next question, or next two, I should say, is a top four. I would
Okay.
love to know top four events that you would like to cover in your journalistic career. And I'll give you an example with the four for me. Okay, top four for
Yes.
me. My one would be national championship game. So that's football and basketball. I want to do both.
Yeah. That'd be
So I
cool.
definitely would love to do that. My second one would be the Olympics.
Ooh, that'd be good.
No question about that. Obviously, 28 is going to be coming into California, so wouldn't
Mhm.
mind doing that.
Yeah.
The third one is going to be a World Series.
Hmm.
No question. I love. Hopefully, my Padres will be in it. That'd be great. But I love a World Series, for sure to cover that. And the last one, um, man, the last one I would probably say NBA Finals because I'm a huge basketball person. I did have a chance to do the WNBA Finals
Oh
last
wow.
year when it was out here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to do game three, although Sabrina hit the game winner. That was pretty
Oh
cool.
wow. Yeah.
And then I just did the Super Bowl this
Hmm.
past February. So what would
Yeah.
be a top four for you?
Trying to think. That's such a good question because I feel like there's so many things out there, but in no particular order, College World Series has been on my bucket list. Georgia,
Mm,
I thought Georgia was going to get there this year and then I would have gone, but they did not. But that just
mm.
seems like such a fun environment with Omaha. There's just something about
Oh, it
college
is.
sports with all the fans. That's different. So that's definitely one of them. A college football national championship, I feel like would be fun also. It's kind of sad. UGA did this thing where they allowed some students to cover it last season. But since I was on dance team, I couldn't apply in case Georgia ended up going. Then I would have had to do dance team with
Oh
Georgia.
boy.
I know. Yeah. But
Yeah.
that seems like it would be a fun one. World Series is probably on mine as well, just how much I love baseball. And then Olympics is a good one. That's an underrated one. I might steal that one because that would be really cool because so many
Yeah.
different events, so many different athletes, so many different stories to tell. That seems like
Yeah.
it'd be really fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't care what event it was. I don't care if
Yeah.
it's water polo. I just want to be there, and
Yeah.
I know it's going to be amazing. No question.
Yes.
Yes, World
Mhm.
Series. No question that's going to be amazing. Yes, I
Yeah.
believe last year's national championship game was in Atlanta, in
In
Atlanta,
Atlanta.
Georgia.
Yes. Hmm.
This next year is going to be in Miami. I know that for
Yes.
sure.
Hmm.
But if I'm not mistaken, Atlanta has one of the semifinal games.
Most
Um,
likely, probably. Yeah.
Yes. So, could hopefully you be one of those students that go to the semifinals. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd definitely be fun.
I want to ask you about a top four now. It doesn't have to be in Athens because I know I believe you're from Swanee, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. That is
Right,
correct.
Swanee, Georgia. Yeah. So, and obviously Swanee is well, I believe it's Gwinnett County. Some of it's Gwinnett County for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
I'm in Forsyth technically right now, but I live like right on the border.
right, right. And my mother lives where Buford Drive is. I just yeah, I hear
Yeah.
your dog. That's
My mother's having some people over, and so she's greeting them, I guess. But yeah.
that's awesome. No, that's
Mhm.
awesome. Give me a top four places to go in Atlanta. In the area that you're in, top four places that you like to go.
I would say Avalon, Halcyon, Collection, and then I'm trying to think if there's like another big shopping outlet. Mall of Georgia's one, but I feel like I don't frequent that as much just because
Mhm.
traffic down there is crazy. But
Yeah,
actually, I'm
it
gonna
is.
say it's not in Swanee. It's obviously like 45 minutes away, but the Battery is super nice. Brown
Oh
Truist
my
Park,
gosh. Yes.
amazing. So those, yeah. Oh, and downtown Sugar Hill, actually, speaking of Planet, downtown Sugar Hill's gotten really pretty as well.
I got you. Yes, the battery. Have you ever been to the Roxy? Been to Coca-Cola Roxy before?
I have not. I parked next to it like almost every day of the summer last year for something, but I've never
Yeah.
been inside of it.
So I used to do a cornhole league. And
Oh
as you
wow.
know, there's cornhole leagues all around Atlanta. And there was one that was at in Kennesaw, because I lived in
Yeah.
Kennesaw for a few years.
Yeah.
But there
Hmm.
was also one at the Battery. You could do
Yes.
cornhole at the Battery, and you could also do
Oh
yoga
wow.
there. So I did
Hmm.
yoga and cornhole there, and I
Oh
would
yes.
and when they have events, I would go to the Roxy,
Yeah.
which the Roxy's right
Yeah.
across.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I love that place. I do, and I'm
Yeah.
sure they've kind of built it up since I've left there about 4 years
Hmm.
ago. But
Yes.
but yeah, I used to definitely rock with that for sure.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's what they've done with that place is incredible. And to see like all the other major league teams almost try to replicate that has been really cool.
Mhm. I got you. I got you. Let me ask you about advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to.
I'm gonna go with so every day, this is getting like sentimental, but every day my father dropped me off at school when I was young, he would always say, have your
Mhm.
fun or have fun and do your best. And those are two things that have kind of really stuck with me. I actually used it in a graduation speech a couple years ago just because of how impactful it was. But I feel
Mhm.
like if you ever go into something and you're not having fun, there's really no point in doing it unless it's obviously something that you have to do. And then if on that note, if you're not doing your best at it, then what's sort of the point of doing it? So just those 2 points of always have your or have fun and do your best are two things that I really try to carry with me. I'm gonna get her for a second.
You good? No problem. I love
Okay, I'll be right back. She's gonna come join.
it. Got you, got you. We are back here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast with AJC intern and UGA student, soon to be graduate of this year, Olivia Sayer. I'm Chris Drummond, as y'all know, freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here. We just got done talking about advice and many other things, a plethora of other things that we've been talking on the podcast episode. I want to know, did you play any sports growing up? Uh-oh.
Grade. And like I did the thing that all kids do where they do tennis when they're young. Oh, did you lose me?
I hear you, but I don't. Uh-oh, I did lose you. That's okay though. We had some technical difficulties here on the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast, but we are now back with
You
Olivia
got me?
Sayer. I got you
Perfect.
now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Okay. Oh, so I was saying I did competitive dancing. I started in second grade. Oh, she's a hot mess. I started in second grade and I did like the thing where all the kids do, where they do tennis growing up, they do soccer growing up, they do all the sports. But I really gravitated towards dance and I just started doing that. Did it all the way through high school, all the genres, and then did it a little bit in college.
What was your favorite genre to dance to?
Probably jazz. I just think it's a lot of fun to throw back down. Probably jazz, but that or contemporary as well. But I
I
did
like
everything
that.
and then we competed practically everything.
Now, that was a very adorable dog that you had in your hand. What kind of dog was that, and what is his or her name?
Yeah, she's a multi-poo. Her name's Sophie. She's now trying to get out of the office, but she's a multi-poo. Her name's Sophie. I think she's 9 years old now, which is crazy. But
Wow.
I don't think my mother's letting her join her party, which she's not very happy about at the moment. But yeah,
Hmm. I totally understand that. Um, so I want to ask this final question, because this has been a pretty dope podcast episode. Learn about your background, learn about where you came from and what you're doing right now. Uh, Let me know, is there anything else that you would like to add about journalism, things that upcoming for you that you're going to be doing,
yeah.
what people should pay attention to what you're doing, or anything at all before we conclude?
Yeah, as far as journalism, I'm trying to think. I feel like there's been so many people that have poured into me, which has been amazing. So really just echoing that sentiment of make those connections, shake those hands, say hi to those people, get those phone numbers because you never know how they could help you in the future. And the one thing that I've really noticed is that in this industry, people are more than willing to help. Like
Yeah.
there's not been, I don't think at least there's been a single person that I've ever reached out to and they've ever been like, yeah, no, I'm not helping you with that. Everyone's so gracious, everyone's so kind. So the one thing about journalism is probably just continuing to reach out to those people, make those connections. But as far as me, not really much for me. I guess you can just find me on Twitter at Olivia K. Sayer and a lot of fun, exciting stuff in the future. So I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think that you're amazing in more ways than
Okay.
one. You're obviously very passionate,
Sure.
very hardworking, and very hungry too. And that's something that's, to me, that's the biggest thing that I see, is that your passion and your hunger for this business. And I hope that fire never dies out, because that's something that you're definitely going to have to continue to have within, once you get done with your school studies and you get out into the professional world full time. That passion sometimes can wane, for sure. But
Appreciate it.
I don't think that it will with you, because like I said, I think you're doing amazing work. They do have a sports career fair coming up in Atlanta, Georgia on June 20th. I don't know if you heard about that or not, but it is coming up in a couple of weeks. You might want to attend, maybe pass out some resumes and maybe make some connections there. I could certainly send you the link to that. But more importantly, uh, the All Star game is there this year, the MLB All Star game, which is in Truist Park. I think it'd be great if you can possibly try to get into there and be able to cover that. I
Yeah.
think that would be amazing.
Yeah. It's already been a conversation. I'll definitely be involved with that. So I'm super excited for that because the draft's there, home run derby, all-star game. It should be fun.
I'm trying to get credentialed myself, to be honest with you. I'm trying to get credentialed because I would love to just go there and check that off the list. Obviously, it's Atlanta's home, and years ago it should have been there, but they moved it, and now it's coming back. And Truist Park is just one of the great places. Who doesn't want an All Star game in Atlanta? And I definitely want to see the home run derby more than anything. So I would love to see that. But with that being
Yeah.
said, Olivia, I want you to have a wonderful rest of your Monday. You and I will definitely stay in touch, and I look forward to seeing you in Georgia down the line.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was nice to talk with you.
Absolutely. You take care. Keep doing wonderful things. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. Sounds good. Bye.